Hello and welcome back to Breathe Motivation, our daily motivational podcast. I'm the founder of Breathe Motivation, Anthony Hester, and your host for today. So we're getting into episode 12. So we've been here 12 days and so excited to be here each and every day with you guys. Hopefully we're making a difference for you, keeping it positive, helping you guys find positivity and purpose and passion in your life. That's our goal here at Breathe Motivation. So glad you guys could join us again. So today, we're going to talk about who's to blame. So let me ask you this question. When is the last time you blamed someone, maybe a boss, maybe a spouse, maybe your friends, maybe your parents, for something? I'll let you think about it for a second. So I know that personally, I've blamed some people for some things before, right? I think we all have. It's normal. And that's human nature. We're naturally going to blame others so that we don't feel responsible to looking into ourselves and seeing if we're the problem, right? We always want to blame the problem on somebody else because it feels easier. And you don't have to look at yourself and really question yourself to be better, right? So I was having lunch the other day with a couple of individuals that used to work for me at the company I used to work for. And it was a very interesting lunch. They're great people. They really are great people. They are hard workers. And, sometimes I feel like, you get a little bit lost in the retail life. And, we worked in retail. And sometimes you kind of lose focus of what you need to do on a day-to-day basis to get ahead. Or, a promotion doesn't go through. And then you start to blame other people. And you don't really look in yourself and say, hey, what can I do different? Or you don't change the surrounding, culture around you or surrounding business around you, right? So you start to blame people, your performance goes down, you don't take responsibility for what you're doing. So, that was kind of an interesting conversation because that's kind of where they were at. They were looking for opportunities to move up within the company. And, you've got to really look at yourself and say, hey, am I the problem first? And maybe if you're not the problem, hey, is this the best company that I want to work for? Is this the right area that I'm in? Do I need to move to a different department? Can I move to a different department? Or do I need to move to a different company because that's going to be the best opportunity? So I know most of you guys are probably thinking that, sometimes it's not my fault, right? So I get that. And there are times where it might not be your fault, but it's always good to analyze and look within yourself to say, hey, is there something I could have done different, right? That's a sign of you looking inward and asking yourself and figuring out the solution to your problems, right? So if you own up to your mistakes, you will really be surprised at the weight that is lifted off, right? It's okay to look within yourself and question yourself, because sometimes that blame that you're putting on others really is something that you have within yourself. Now, I'm going to tell you a secret here, okay? But please don't tell anybody, okay? It's okay to make mistakes. You aren't any less of a person, okay? Don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody that you make mistakes, okay? Don't tell anybody the secret that it's okay to make mistakes, right? No, of course. It's okay to make mistakes. We were not made to be perfect. Oftentimes, we put blame on others because it's so easy to put that weight on somebody else. But in the long run, when you do that, you start to look at things on a different level and you start to get negative because you're not taking the full responsibility, because you're really oftentimes when you're putting blame on something, you're putting a projection of where you see yourself or we see ourselves, right? Have you ever gone to another, so let's say, I've gone through this scenario. Have you ever gone to another company and you left because you had this monster of a boss? They're always picking at you. They're always going crazy. Hey, they're making my job harder. Oh man, they're making my goals harder. They're making them harder to reach. Man, I'm not making as much money. It's all their fault. And then you go to another company and then all of a sudden man, I went to another company. I thought it was going to be better, and it really didn't turn out to be better. I still have a nagging boss. I'm not making the same kind of money that I could have been. These goals are too ridiculous, right? But a lot of the times, again, that's the projection of your mindset and what you're looking at, right? You've got to look at yourself and question yourself, is it the thoughts in my mind that are holding me back? By me blaming somebody else, is that holding me back from being better? And oftentimes it really is. You've got to stop that feeling of blaming, right? You've got to notice within yourself and challenge your thoughts every day. So if you're blaming somebody, first question yourself and say, hey, am I blaming somebody? Is this within my control? Am I doing something different that, I can maybe fix and it'll be better? Right? Oftentimes people are blaming the economy, the environment, the culture, the people, right? We got to stop doing that. But it's time to analyze your behaviors and your thoughts. If you notice yourself blaming your circumstances on someone else or something, challenge yourself to evaluate it. If it's within your control, then change it, right? And if it's not in your control, then either forget about it or leave the situation because it's not going to get better, right? You have choices in life. Choices are where you're going to be in your life, right? The choices you make, the ideas you live, you got to stop blaming others and you got to take some responsibility. I know it's scary. It's scary looking at yourself and saying, hey, man, I'm the problem. Nobody wants to be a problem. Nobody wants to make mistakes, but it's okay to make mistakes. You know why? Because you're going to learn some great lessons from it. Don't focus on the problem. Work towards a solution. Oftentimes, when you look within yourself and you challenge yourself, you come out on the other end a better, stronger person. So, who are you blaming for your problems now? Or what are you blaming? What are the circumstances that you're in that aren't your fault? That you're not to blame for? There's going to be some that you're not, you don't have any control over, right? But there are some that you have control over, and you can change those thoughts and change those behaviors and change your actions to get better. The goal is to always get better. And if you sit in negativity and you dwell on problems that you're not fixing, you're not going to get any better, right? They always talk about, the law of attraction. Ask, believe, receive. What you ask for is what you get if you believe in it, right? So if you believe others are the issue, they will always be the issue, right? And if they're not, how do you change your perception to maybe, take a step in their shoes, right? Oftentimes we see people that are going through challenges and we're like, man, what the heck's going on with them? We don't often stop and ask, hey, what's going on? How can I help you? Right? We're so focused internally on, wanting to fix ourselves when ultimately we can fix ourselves and help other people along the way too. That's why I always kind of, look at the, I in high school, I had a guy that would tell me, hey, your life is so much easier than mine. And I was like, what? And I was like, you really don't know what I've gone through, but it's very different for you to say that, right? Because what I've gone in life might be super easy to some others, but internally, it was a tough road. Don't ever compare yourself or compare your life to others because you don't know what everybody's going through. But do reach out and help others. If people are blaming you, let's get to the root cause of it. What are they blaming you for? How can you help them and how can you help each other to understand the issue and the situation to change the circumstances together? because it's not only fixing you, it's helping to fix the situation with the other person. And that other person gets the idea that, hey, I can help myself and I can help others too. And that's the goal, right? Attitude and perception is reality. Whatever you believe, whatever you look at, and whatever people see of you usually is what is reality, right? But you can change reality. You can help others. You can help other people understand you. I very often show myself off because I'm scared to be vulnerable. I don't want people to see that, I make mistakes. I don't want people to see that I'm vulnerable or I get sad, right? But you can't maintain, a fakeness about yourself for very long because it's going to start to drain you. So we're going to leave with a quote. The winners are those who learn to take responsibility for their actions. The losers are those who blame others for their failures. So stop blaming others. Take responsibility and feel the weight lifted off of you. Go out there and make a change. Help other people through those. Work it through, okay? Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Breathe Motivate. Go like our page on Facebook, Breathe Motivation. Check out breathemotivation.com. It's got our blog and our podcast attached to that as well. Keep sending us your challenges, your opportunities, your successes. We love to hear about them. And remember to always breathe motivation and exhale success. Go out there and do something special today. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you.